All right. Really excited to have you guys on this panel discussion. Actually, I think I have waited for Madhavan and Mihir to come here face to face in person at Ttox. So please give these guys a round of applause. Um, to give you a small intro about both of these, they are legends in their own way. So Mihir has designed Viticulture World, and it's not easy to convince Jamie Stegmaier to actually publish a game. So Mihir's Viticulture World is a collaborative game. It's a co-op game. It's a cooperative
expansion to Viticulture.
Right. And it's very interesting. The narrative is completely different. And Madhavan, he has been working super hard to enter India, help Blue Orange Games, capitalize the huge market that we have here. And Blue Orange Games, the beauty about it is they're family games. So these games are so light, they're not too rules heavy. In fact, most of the rules of the games finish in like one side of a page, which is beautiful, but they have great strategic depth and beautiful artwork, beautiful. I mean, I'm a big fan of Blue Orange games, especially I think Blue Lagoon, and it's a Rena Knizia game, right? I mean, we have to like it. So yeah, honored. Something about Mihir, he has been collaborating with extremely talented designers who have forgotten about their wonderful games. This guy is bringing those games into the limelight, getting the publishers, I think they're also interested in publishing these games. And the latest success story is Raas. Raas is based on Dandiya, and you have the game with you. Okay, we'll show it to you. It's beautiful. It has gears, and it's all about propagating your dance step and seeing who is. Oh, you're from Gujarat.
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, I think you should tell us the story about
Of Raas.
Ras. Yeah.
So Raas, basically, the game is called Raas, a dance of love. I don't know how many of you guys have heard about Garba Raas, this day that happens during this Navratri season. And typically in Gujarat, where this dance primarily originated from, people used to go there, especially these days, youngsters go there to find love. So this is like, you're trying to find love through dancing.
Perfect message for Gen Z.
Yeah. So it's a very unique theme, which we latched onto. And and we made a game on dancing and trying to find love, and hopefully it has turned out decent. And when it releases later on this year, the public will let us know how it is. But designing is fun. Designing is stressful. Is fun. It took a long time to make the game, because to make something for an international market is a whole different ball game than doing something just for a small print run.
So I mean, Mihir is he's been questioning from, I think, from the moment I told him you're going to be on this panel. He's like, dude, I'm a designer. This is an industry panel, and I can't think of anybody else who's got success like this on a global scale, right? We know the problems that are there. We know the probably the right way of doing things and the wrong things that you want to avoid doing. So this is the main reason I wanted you to be here, because we want to know what are those roadblocks that you're facing in India today. I mean, you've seen success in US, you have seen success in Saudi Arabia. I mean, where? Dubai, UAE, all the whole of UAE. I mean, whole of the Middle East. He has been working with FIFA pretty frequently and launching games for FIFA. They've been licensing games with FIFA. That has been epic, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we need your perspectives, your help to grow the Indian market to be the next biggest market that international publishers, Indian publishers are going to be drooling at. So quick question. Now that you've been hanging around in India, he's been publishing games in India now. From last 2-3 years, or from 2015, are you seeing a paradigm shift
Yeah, really. So
Okay.
we've seen the change happening.
What?
In terms like people are looking out for new games, and when we go and look at our Amazon algorithm, we can see that people are the search algorithm, what sort of games people are looking at.
Okay.
Any international game that is coming out very quickly, they just we can find out from the search
Right.
what sort of games they're searching, and so there is.
So that's from the want perspective, the
Yeah.
top of the funnel.
Yeah, and also the demand. There is a demand for the game. So when, as I told you, Taco was released previously by our partner board game
Board game company.
company, and when they released and when we were planning to come into the market, so they gave the game back to us. They were so generous to give the game back to us. We never demanded also, but they were happy to give the game back to us.
Wasn't, I mean, you were involved in the whole.
Yeah, process. Yeah, I was involved in the process for them meeting in, but also they, I mean, when we were coming in, they were ready to give it back to us. But the thing that is that when it went out of stock for a certain period,
Right.
there was a big demand for it.
yeah.
All were
People were ready to
like
pay.
it was like crazy. I used to get emails. I used to get calls into my. We want Taco. We are running for it. We can't get it. Like there's a big hunger for it.
There are a lot of
So then we understood that, and yeah, and Aziz also, can we do a reprint? I think we should. It didn't work out like for giving a reprint, but still, because Blue Orange is not. It's a company that it has a board. So then there's a lot of decision making there happening.
Right.
So that's why it went out of stock for some
I
time.
remember that you shared this mind-boggling numbers about how Taco Cat Goat Cheese, the sales numbers in
Yeah.
different parts of the world.
Yeah, in
Would you want to
total,
share?
it's about 13.8 million copies we've sold. It's just
Okay.
for I think 4 years in the market.
Right.
And so markets like so the challenging part I can explain you, like Mexico, we just actually Mexico started their own version in November, and till today they sold, I mean, like in 4 months they sold about 30,000 pieces, 30,000 edition of their, and they're selling it at $11 to $12.
Wow.
And the price,
Okay.
and I was thinking, oh, India cannot sell that much. India can sell more,
One.
and so this is what we look into. So even all the developing countries, now we're focusing as Blue Orange. In many countries, we are popular. So we need to get into the markets where we can, get people into modern board games.
Right.
So the main theme of Blue Orange, even their idea was to come to India, is not to just sell games and make profits. It's to get people into modern board games. When you get people into modern board games,
Right.
Automatically the sales will come in. Yeah.
Now, I'm just very curious to understand when you look at Asia.
Yeah.
One thing I have understood even from Jalal when I was talking to Jalal at SN, I think he was mentioning that Asia is waking up.
Yeah.
And it's not just Asia waking up to games. It's also the better halves of people waking up to games. So
To add on to this and to add on to your previous question, and this is the main reason why India in particular is seeing a paradigm shift. And kudos to you, because you've done almost 90% of the work in spreading the love for board games, and putting it out there digitally,
But-
like TTO and stuff like that. But more importantly, what people are now realizing is that, especially parents, they don't want the kids to be in front of the screen, but they do not also want to play with them themselves.
Right.
Because what you play with the kids is kids game, and they're getting bored. But no, once they know about modern board games, thanks to the efforts that you're putting in, modern board games are enjoyable equally by adults and with kids. So once they know about these games, and Blue Orange has a nice lineup of those games too. So, and they're like, wow, this is great. The whole family can enjoy together. And that's why you're seeing that uptick of numbers and uptick of interest in board games. And
right.
India, especially in the current scenario, like talking about manufacturing also, there's an industry tariff. Many people are looking for alternatives from China, because US-China relationships have never been so good. So now if you can find another country, so these days people are looking at Vietnam and stuff like that, but I would love the US market to look at India also seriously.
100%. I mean, you saw the quality of the Blue Orange games. I mean,
It's done very good. Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah. One roadblock which I feel we have to tackle is the red tapeism in exports. If we can get that, shaved off, then it'll help a lot towards pushing and pulling these manufacturing in whatever capacity in India,
Right.
which will help the industry a lot. And of course, we're getting away from these monopoly and risk and getting onto a life strategy games where people find enjoyment in strategizing and get the pleasure
Right.
in figuring out a good strategy by themselves. Is very satisfying in itself, which they do not feed by a luck-based game of monopoly or something like that. So, and of course, the great art and the great presentations help, and of course, marketing helps a lot.
Yeah, I think the most important thing which is also helping you today, I mean, it's 2025 and we are easily around 10, 20 years behind the world. One of the biggest tricks that, and not even tricks, I mean, this is what I'm actually pitching to most of the publishers across the world. The first thing they say is importing games into India is painful.
Yeah.
Right? The simplest solution is take the license, make it here. You can actually, in fact, I was talking to you about manufacturing costs. If you actually streamline it and find the right manufacturers, we can, in fact, beat China.
The problem here is that Indian market is not consuming so much quantity.
Exactly.
So as an international publisher to come in, like for us, Blue Orange, we have a lot of components that are made of plastic. And as I told you, Blue Orange doesn't never compromise us on their quality.
Correct.
They want to maintain a high standard. So to manufacture that small volume as a new publisher to come into the market, the volume is so limited. The manufacturing cost goes up more than the price at the international market.
Also, they are somebody for most of them.
Your game is sold $19.99 in US, and I have to buy a $20.99 at Indian. Since if you manufacture, get all those done here 100%, it will not work out. So we're finding out ways like, to get the components. So again, importing to India, BIS issues. First of all, board game never comes.
I don't think people here know what BIS is. We actually call it BS.
So it's the standardization.
It's an ISI mark for card games to tell that they're safe.
Okay.
You can't kill people with card games. Imagine Uno, like shuriken or something.
So yeah, I mean, you should have standards like as Europe has EN 71, 72 and all those CE certification in the US. But what happens is even in Middle East market, we have to use a mark called Gulf mark.
Correct.
But what happens if the publisher has done a certification by big company like SSG or Bureau Veritas, the same certificates can be converted into the Gulf mark. But in India, it's not that. You have to do all the testings, all the testings again, and the lab has to be with the manufacturer's place. So there are a lot of, as he said, red tapes in between. So if that is sorted out,
the most hilarious thing is if your dice is coming from China,
yeah,
you have to take the inspectors to the Chinese manufacturer
place and get it tested, and and get the stock in. So these things are there still in. That's why the pricing factor is not coming down. You can't bring in, so you can't make a small volume of games like 5,000. You don't know you will sell or not. If you bring 10,000 pieces, you get stuck with the components.
Correct.
So to overcome this, we're finding out a lot of legal ways.
So actually, Madhavan, I mean, I don't know if we've discussed this before. So as publishers in India, we are trying to set a new standard. So like, for example, a lot of board games have meeples. The people who use these meeples, where did it start from? Germany, right? They have access to meeple manufacturers.
Yeah.
Now what's happened is if it's a board game and a wooden component, it has to be that, beautiful pastel colors and, those wooden pieces. That is what was available to them. We sitting in India, we are going to use resources and raw materials which are available to us. Why should we mimic the same quality of meeples? We'll figure out jugaad ways.
Yeah, that's another way that we are looking at it. We are looking another way. That's another way of looking into it. But as a company, Blue Orange, they don't want to compromise that.
Right.
They want to have the same standard to be in the market. They say,
well, like, question for you. That game, the games which you have published, you have to sell it only in India?
So we have Indian subcontinent. We'll do
India and
all these sub of India, like Sri Lanka. Yeah, Indian subcontinent.
So yes, so one thing, to give you an example, the beauty about working with manufacturers today in India, they haven't invested too much into equipment into board game manufacturing. Like there are no board game manufacturers in India, right? I was actually telling you guys in the afternoon that we converted a food packaging guy who makes chocolate dabbas into board game manufacturing. So when we went to him and I said, "Hey, I want thick tokens," he said, "I'll make it." I was, "Are they okay? I appreciate the confidence," you know. And then I said, "I don't want the layer of the tokens to peel off when you punch it out, right? The punch boards and stuff." He said, "Sure." I'm like, "How is he so confident?" Right? We are so tired of punching those things and a little bit peels off and you're like, right? That is the archaic process of using a gray board pasted with, a sandwich of 76 or 90 GSM sheet on it. They did that because the 90 GSM sheet flows through the printing press easily. Today, you see the toothpaste dabbas and soap boxes coming out of India. They have kick-ass quality. It's use and throw. And they have all these textures and everything, right? So this guy said, okay, you don't want it to peel? Done. You want it to be thick? Done. I'll just sandwich 3 of those 400 GSM sheets. I'll give it to you. If you actually see the tokens from our manufacturer, the sides are all white. When we took it to Germany to Essenspiel, you have seen our components, right? Everybody was like, is this plastic? Because it was all white. It was toothpaste dabba, man. Nobody knew it is Cyber Excel. Now, after he has started doing that, all the Indian publishers are like, okay, we want the same thing. You know why? It is solid hard. It doesn't peel out at all. So these are cutting edge things we have access to today. And this is what I was saying, Jugaad. Until you collaborate with the local crowd who are experts in their thing. Like, for example, we found a bottle cap manufacturer, a bike indicator manufacturer to make our transparent cups in chai garam.
Okay.
The same thing I asked China, they said 1 lakh for a mold and you need multiple cavities and blah, 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 and importing all that, 3 lakhs. He made it for 36,000. 80 paisa, 60 paisa, one piece.
Okay.
What do you get for 60 paisa? Can you imagine?
Yeah.
So he was a bike indicator manufacturer. Even again, same thing. I said, I want it transparent. He said, sure. He said, I've been making indicators from 20 years. I don't know if you know the complications that go into getting one transparent piece. Plastic granules, granules come fully transparent. Then you add master batches to get whatever color you want. Master batches are like pigments, all right? If you want to get a transparent one, you have to dilute the master batches to such a level, otherwise it becomes solid red. So you have to put it into a kg or a 10 kg bag, dilute it, take 1 spoon from that and then put it and then get a transparent piece. This is R&D. Our guys don't know this.
So, this reminds me of a beautiful stuff. We in India, primarily, we love to copy the Western culture. Whatever stuff is there, whatever is hit, whatever concept, not even in board games, generally any part of life, any concept from the Western part, we love to copy them, we love to mimic them. Even if we mimic something out here, we do it in a better way than it was done in the Western world. So I think this is an opportunity for us in India, especially Indian manufacturers, to use the resources we have in India to not to make an Indian game for Indian masters only, make a worldwide global that will go hit in the Western market. And then because it is hit in a Western market, the Indians will have wanted more.
Exactly. It trickles down.
Right. You have that 100%. You have this advantage of finding such vendors where you can manufacture components at such a cheap rate, which is way cheaper than China. Also, right?
I'm so glad you mentioned this point, because if you go to YouTube and look at board game content, there's so much of content being generated. There's nothing coming out of India.
Yep.
Right? So that's another problem we're trying to solve. And this is one of the ways to solve it, right? If anybody wants to understand how big the market is in India, we have no proof. Right? So I'm so glad you mentioned that. Actually, another insight on this, right? So the games which get popular in the US are the creme de la creme of the games which come out of Europe, for example, right? If 6,000 games are launched in Essenspiel over 3 days, The creme de la creme of those are the ones that are selected.
Yeah.
And India looks at the creme de la creme of that and picks up Azul and, all of these other games.
No, but Mike, there's scope for, if you make a good game, make a game which is like easy on rules but lots of depth and complexity, and it's fun. So like a biggest example I'll give you, Sashi and Sashi games. They're from Japan.
Yeah, Sashi and Sashi.
Yeah, so they have become so popular in America and in the Europe.
Sure, yeah.
And now their games are selling like hotcakes in Japan.
Exactly.
So this is the same thing I would love to see mimic in India. Like an Indian manufacturer, publisher make a game which it gets hit in the international market, and because of that, the Indians want more. The Indian media houses portray more. The Indian corporates want more. The entire in all the industries in India would want it more,
Right.
and that would kickstart the board game revolution in India even more.
100%. So I think, the beauty about this panel is Mihir represents the gamer community, right? I mean, I have done an interview with you, I don't know, 5 years ago,
Kind of it.
right? Where we discussed about your top 5 games, remember?
It was during COVID, so yeah.
Yeah. So all those 5 games, none of you will touch, believe me. They are like, 3-4 hour long games. And Madhavan represents the mass market, right? I'm so happy that you guys are bringing both perspectives.
Our games are like,
family and-
the rules are like 5 minutes, and the maximum time is about only, I think photosynthesis is the longest one, which is 40 minutes,
Right.
45 minutes. Otherwise, all 20, 30,
Yeah.
15. Taco is just 15 minutes. But what we look is how many play time, how many play chances. Yes.
So this is great.
The replay-
What you
replay
mentioned
is
is great. 5 years ago, I loved these heavy games. I still love them. However, since the past 3 years, I've been attending almost 20 yearly on a yearly basis, 20 international conventions and
Yeah.
conferences, board gaming related. So that's on an average more than one a month. And I've gotten to play with many gamers worldwide of different ethnicities, races, ages, of different profiles, at different zones, stuff like that. And one thing I've derived at is like really the games that get tabled more and more, the games that get enjoyed more and more are the games that are simple to teach but have lots of depth and strategy.
100%.
And Blue Orange does a great job at that.
Yes.
So similar games that I feel those games not only sell well, but they're tabled well also, which acts as an inbuilt marketing,
Yeah.
I know.
I mean, we were lucky. So we went to BGG Con just because it was cheaper to go there and exhibit than Comic Con in India.
Wow.
A stall in Comic Con was costing what, 80,000 rupees or something like that for 2 days. And BGG Con was $600, how much ever that is. And it's a 5-day convention. You remember, right? I mean, we went there, we were like, who the hell is going to buy our games, right? We went to BGG Con and we met Mihir and rest of the board gaming community there. We were sold out in 3 hours in a 5-day convention. All our stock was over and we're like, okay, what do we do for the rest of the 4 days? So he was giving us tips like, okay, keep tabling the games, keep tabling the games. In fact, Vallamkali was people would come and they'd be like, I want that noisy game. So we didn't realize that the game was so noisy. People were banging tables and these are firangs, how it is. So
It is an exciting game. Right? When you can see that aura in a table, people from an
tiger
on the table would be attracted to your table and want to try out that game. And that's what really worked.
we were not used to this. The bang on the table, purple, like, calm down. I did not expect this kind of reaction. But 5 days, 24 hours, posters everywhere saying, please take a shower. That was one hell of a thing. So we have exhibited across the country now. We've been to Japan, we've been to Thailand, Europe, all the way to US, right? The beauty about selling in US is, I mean, Europe, it was breathtaking to see the crowd in Essenspiel, but just 25% of the people talk English.
That's a pain point.
Right? I was borderline racist there. Every time somebody came, I would call another guy saying, hey, Akhtung guy has come. He was like, dude, you'll get killed for saying racist stuff like this. But in the US, it was very different. They know Indian culture so well. They are so used to eating samosa. In fact, some of the people who would buy our games were like, we would check the name if he's Mexican or Indian, they look the same. So But yeah, thank you so much for these kind of perspectives. But I want to hear from you. Um, I mean, you said there has been a paradigm shift and all that, and you've seen how the markets have been growing across the world. If you had to give two tips, each one of you, right? Two tips on what are the things we need to do for the next 5 years, right? By 2030, what are the things we should have achieved? What are those milestones we need to look out as Indian publishers, people in the industry?
From my end, I would like to say that there are millions and millions of stupid, silly games. Uh, so
Wait. Clarify the geography.
no, in India,
Oh, okay.
you want to grow the market in India, right? I believe the perspectives from Indian perspective,
Yes.
right? So I've seen in Hamleys and stuff like that. None. I don't see any modern board games. Many stupid, silly games,
Yeah.
which is luck based and they have no fun. It's just for time pass. Give them something interesting. Make a game that has a lasting memory with it. Maybe in the mechanisms, maybe in the gameplay feel, or the production wise.
Yeah.
Make it interesting. Have some layer of strategy and depth in it, and educate the Indian market via these games about what modern board gaming is.
Correct.
Get them more and more interested into the hobby. And honestly speaking, we can manufacture less. We can manufacture for less, but that does not mean we have to sell for less, because this is an experience which will stay with them for a long time.
Yeah.
People are willing to pay for experiences. So if your game can give you that experience, people are willing to pay a high price for the experience. So, but give them that game.
Value proposition.
Yeah, give them that they feel that this is an experience. Whenever like Walam Khali, you played with any of your group of friends, they're having such an enjoyable time. One time they played, they're like, I've gotten my money back.
Yeah.
And if they played 50 times, oh my God, this is like amazing. So
That game was completely based on research.
yeah, so just imagine, so you can sell this game for twice the cost, but people will still feel that this is value for me. So, but the game has to. So you made that game, that's awesome, So we want more such games which have experience driven, which creates a lasting memory. Make such games and get more people interested. I mean, Indian is a billion people. You get more and more markets, increase the market size via these things, and
Aren't you seeing a big? I mean, there's so many fantastic games coming out. Like Kursi is fantastic.
This is awesome.
Lakshadweep is great. Lakshadweep got seal of pillow. Somebody's chucking it at.
Yeah.
Like for example, the games coming out of India. Kursi is my top favorite right now. In the last 6 months, I've been tabling it left, right, and center. It's Siddhant's game.
Siddhant is awesome.
Yeah, we pushed him off the cliff saying, dude, quit your consulting job, start selling games. I think he hates us now, but I think he's having a blast. I mean, Tycoon came out, Gridel did pretty well, Lakshadweep did great from Luma World. I can give you a list of games which are coming out of Indian publishers, right? Even Andy is doing some amazing games. Boitas is a beautiful game. Blue Encore has released Nilgiris, Biomes of Nilgiris. Gorgeous game, So yeah, I think this is a golden era of Indian games and the Indian market. So one thing I wanted to share with you when it came to Valamkali, it was actually, we designed it reverse. So people used to come to our store. The first thing they would say is, hey, these games are, capping out at 4 players.
You're high up there, count.
So 6 to 7, 8 players, right? First problem solved. Second, simultaneous play. Nobody has to wait for their turn. You play at the same time, and it's that adrenaline rush, right? You're like, oh man, he's coming, he's going there. And one more thing that we realize is Indians loved betting. They like to put X amount of money and get back 10x, right? For Sale was one of the most sold card games in our store in Board Games Bazaar. And that's another advantage for us to have a store attached to our design studio. I don't know if you know this, Board Games Bazaar is unmanned. There's no store manager, right? So it's just there. It's just, stocked up games on a rack. if a customer walks in, one of us just run there, right? One of the designers or me or Shweta, and we are getting insights from the field, from the ground level. And that's how we worked backwards. We're like, okay, this is the price point. What can I do? What are the game mechanics? Where can I cap what is the scope of my components? And then we started designing backwards. So this is again another thing you guys should know. If you're a designer, don't design first and try to find a market. Don't try to shove it down someone's throat saying, hey, I have a game, buy, right? Let the pull come from the other side. There are multiple ways to do this. You can involve them in the whole design process, blah, blah, blah. That's a different session. But thank you so much. How about your 2 tips for...
So the first tip I would say, like for Indian market, as he was talking about, retailers don't keep modern games.
Correct.
One of the reason is that we see that all retailers look at high margins.
100%. Yeah.
So modern board games,
Especially Hamleys.
yeah, when you look at high margins as a entry designer who is getting into the market cannot afford, because they can't manufacture big volumes. So they'll constrain with their volume. So the margins are too tight, or the retail price goes up, or they have to keep a retail price in a way that they can give a retail margin.
Right.
So the retailers, it's like a give and take process.
I think
Some of the retailers should understand and have that.
so. That's a distribution problem in India.
Yeah. So this is why, as Gamebae, we didn't want to go to mass markets. We had mass markets asking us game, like, because they know Blue Orange brand. We don't want to give as Gamebae.
Good.
Yeah. As a mass market right now, because just giving a big volume, having a big volume at a retail point, yeah, they'll give you visibility, they'll give you everything. But we thought we'd invest more on our content creation, on our social media market. See the reach in advertising cost, what you've put in more into your advertising cost,
Right.
and your retail distribution cost, you can have a success because it'll reach more people. We'll have multi-language people doing videos about our game, and we'll have influencers talking about our game. So all money you invest into that rather than putting it into a retail shelf and it's showing into...
See, this is one lesson which is very important for a lot of publishers, especially Indian publishers. If, like, for example, Blue Orange has one super popular game.
Yeah.
I mean, today, like Taco Cat, right? Even if you look at Stone Mayer games as well, it was Viticulture and Wingspan and Scythe, which really put them on the global map, right? And what they have done is they have put in more money into reprints. So there are, like, I don't know how many millions of copies they've sold, right? In what I have noticed with Indian publishers is, I got one success. Let me repeat the same success with another completely mutually exclusive game.
Yeah.
If I can do great with this one game, I'm sure I can do great with this one game. And they invest unnecessary money into this. When this game is actually doing great, pour in more money. Release expansions, release, different themes.
We did that same with King Domino.
Exactly.
So when King Domino won Deshwegaraval in 2017, we got the Queen Domino.
Right.
Queen Domino is more strategical than King Domino. King Domino is a lighter version. So people want more strategy. So we got
Blue Orange games are some of the best games.
when you and King Domino, you can attach with King Domino, you can have more
Giants and everything.
Yeah, you can have more players to play. Then you have Giants coming into it. Then we have the only last game, our last game cannot be attached with any of the game. It should be played individually. The Rivers on Moon, the last King Domino version of...
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's a standalone.
That's the standard.
Yeah. So, I think it's based on the prehistoric.
Yes,
something like that. So what is in store, Mihir? Tell us in your books, what should we look out for? I mean, can you reveal?
I mean, yeah, sure. I mean, I'm excited for Raas to come out later this year, and then hopefully sometime next year, I've been designing and playtesting Mumbai local,
Right.
which is based on the local trends in Mumbai, and then I've been working very early stages on a game on the love languages, on the 5 love languages, so like a deduction game.
Okay.
5 love languages.
I didn't even know there were languages, man.
Yeah, there were 5.
There is no language in love.
Actually, there are 5 love languages. But and probably in a year or two, a game called Rangoli. Which,
What?
yeah.
Oh, okay. Dude, leave some themes for us.
In the meantime, you will be churning out hundreds of games.
We hope so. We hope
Yeah.
so. Yeah.
So yeah, pretty exciting times ahead, and I'm and for me personally, I'm more looking into getting into the distribution side of things because India is a great market, So you know, la- being the language partner for my games in India and stuff like that, because this is where the whole is. And when I talk to international publishers, they want me to either find someone or and get into this aspect myself for India, because India is a huge market.
Yeah.
You cannot. So everybody wants a piece of the cake, but they don't know how. So I'm just trying to figure out.
So I'm really happy that you're bridging the gap between global hungry for medium to heavy games with Indian narratives.
Yeah.
You're merging both of these. And he just mentioned in the last talk that he's going to open up the doors to Indian publishers.
Indian
So I
designers.
think this is Indian designers. I think this is
Uh,
great news.
not this year, not next year probably. May not we
We'll shorten that.
we'll shorten that. We may not know.
Yeah.
Maybe next year if something good comes into us. Yeah, there is always any designer who has a good game can pitch into Blue Orange, because as I told you, we test about 1,800 to 2,000 prototype a year.
And I've seen that.
So anybody can pitch into it, and probably there could be a pick in that. So yeah, you can. So since we are in Indian market, maybe it's say okay, it works for Indian market. It can get into Indian market. So you never know that. Now we are just with our own games, so it's easy for us. Which is us. I mean, as you said, this best of best is only coming into this market.
Correct.
But we will get in soon the other games as well. What we feel, because Indian market has a different taste. As you said, you are a big fan of Blue Lagoon, but it didn't do very good for us in the other markets. And there are some games I have seen that personally. People ask me why you're not getting this game to India. But that game did not do good for Blue Orange, because for us, when we consider it's a reprint, or it's working
game.
by 2 or 3 reprints, then it's considered as a good print. If you're doing one print and the game is done for one print, it's not considered as a good game for us. So that game isn't just there in our backlist, it's not there on the front list. So every year when you publish more than 100, 150 games, you have total 115 games in your catalog. Before, Blue Orange used to do like 40 games, 50. Now we come down maximum of 12 games or 10 games a year. So, we have to go so deep and see what we're getting in. So different market has a different taste, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, actually, Blue Orange has most of the games have a Spielejahrers award.
Yeah.
They've won a Spielejahrers award.
Most of them,
Yeah.
both in Kinder level also, like Dragon Mino and not only that, we have all US awards, like Dr. Eureka has got 2 awards for in the US market.
Yeah. I think to the viewers and the people here, you should really see the journey of Blue Orange games. It's just mind blowing. The kind of games they have launched and experimented with, and what are the ones which are being reprinted. It's a case study.
Yeah.
Right. One thing I wanted to share.
Basically 3 individuals.
Correct.
Was one individual. I mean, Blue Orange was 2 different companies.
Right.
France was called Jactalia, and US. It started, actually Blue Orange originated from San Francisco by Terry himself.
Oh.
He started playing. The first game is Gobbler.
Right.
So you see in Blue and Orange, that was his company. So he was waiting for his client. Terry.
No, the designer is Robert Fraga.
No, that is for Dr. Eureka.
Right. Yeah.
So Gobbler is Terry. He's a big shareholder in Blue Orange. He's a guy who started the first. I mean, his first game was Gobbler. He was sitting in a coffee shop waiting for his client. So he had few cups of Starbucks, different levels. So he tried Gobbler.
Actually, I want to test something.
That's how
you know Gobblers?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. We see some hand raised. Oh, nice.
So that's how he introduced that game. That was the first.
It's one of our bestsellers in our store as well.
Yeah. So they're all from ground level people, like, Jalal, he was an auditor at KPMG, and Timothy was working with FedEx. So Timothy's father made a game, and they both brought out a game. Like how today Indian designers are struggling and coming into the market, the same way they also came. So that's how they originated. And they had some good games and some bad games. But
So we
I
have a
think
publisher here. We have a designer here. Do you ever want to switch roles?
no,
We're
no.
talking about manufacturing and suddenly.
I don't know. For me, publishing, not anytime soon, because I'm doing many other stuff also. So publishing is a full time, it's a full time effort. So I'm like, I have two other things that I'm doing. So
Wait, when he says this, what do you think his day job is? Wild guess. Not software engineer. Definitely not. What is his day job? Any guesses? What? Okay. He teaches something. No. Sort of. No. He's a golf instructor. Look at the the backgrounds, right? It's just epic. All right, I think we can have this session going on and on. But yeah, I want to end this talk by saying I think the insights we got from this particular talk was very, very, very precious. We have to share it ASAP with the rest of the janta who are designing, who are in the different walks of life in the board game design all the way to also, Raas is going to be tabled at 5 o'clock at the Spotlight table. So if you want to check it out, we need around 6 players. I think 4 are already booked.
4 have already signed up. We have space for 2 more.
Yeah, and you will be the first few people to be playing this ever, right, in India? I mean, have you tabled it in Mumbai already?
With a few people.
Okay, in Bangalore.
Because this is a pre-production copy, so we have to table it to see what are the flaws and stuff like that, so we can go back to the factory.
I forgot to mention the most important thing. Okay. Raas was originated from one of the game design competitions that we ran during COVID. So the brief was you have to design a game which can be either 3D printed or laser cut. So it's like made to order. There's no inventory, right? And Shaleen, from day one, he's like, I'm not sure if I should submit the game. I will submit it only if somebody's going to publish it. He was that confident. And, he worked on this. And Shaleen is a guy where you have a conversation for 10 minutes. He'll whip out 10 kick-ass games. And that's it. He won't do shit about it.
So the game has intricate gears, and he was inspired by the game that was the Solkin, which is gears. So he submitted that for the design contest.
Yeah.
And it won.
It won the contest.
And then
absolutely. I mean, he's telling us the whole thing is like, okay, you learn a step and you teach it to another person and it propagates throughout. So you're trying to see how much, I don't know how much of the game is still the same. So, okay. I don't know if it's the same way.
That's it. So Charlie did that, and then he was trying to get the game going, but he could. And then he was like, Mihir, please help me make this game. And then that's it. Then I took it over and I ran.
You completely and now it's published by Arcane Wonders, one of the biggest publishers in the US.
One of the top players in
the world, in fact.
Yeah. And it is going to be a Dice Tower Essential game. So very few games get to be Dice Tower Essential, which the Dice Tower, which is, I don't know, for many people, if they do not know, Dice Tower is one of the biggest board gaming YouTube channels out there.
Tom Wesley
is like Gordon Brands.
So they have a line of games which they feel are essential for every household. So Raas has made it into that. So yeah, so Rabbit.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Our games are always there.
Oh, yes, it is. Yes. It's all show-offs here, man. No, one day we'll also come there.
No, but see, Indian games coming is a big thing there.
I think Achudip was also chosen, not essential, but Dice Tower recommended or something. Yeah. A seal of excellence or something. Yeah. So, a bit about Dice Tower. It's run by this amazing person, Tom Vassell. Tom Vassell is the Gordon Ramsay of the board game world. So if he says a game sucks, the company has to shut down. So I'm happy. I mean, he picked up Chai Garam. He played Valamkali. He lost the game and he's like, he won the race, but he lost the game. So
yeah. And the funny story is that Tom Vassell, when the game when Raas came to me, and when I was working on Raas and I was playtesting it in one of his conventions. Like, so Kalbun runs TTOX, Hamasan runs Dice Tower Convention, like Dice Tower West, East Retreat, and Dice Tower Cruise. So I was at one of his conventions. I was playtesting Raas, and he came by, and it was in a private room, and he can enter any room because it is his convention. So he just barged in, and he's like, "What is this?" And because he loves gears and he loves dice,
Colors and
yeah. So he's like, and he knew me because Viticulture World came out, which instantly, made me from no one to suddenly everybody celebrity, so he knew me in that regards. But then he's like, okay, so you're trying to make this game. I love gears, and he blackmailed me. He's like,
what?
when you make this game, you dare show it to anybody else. You have to come. To
Oh,
me
so
first."
that was the reason you.
Yeah, so the game I had to show it to him first. Like, okay, this is the game.
Oh,
So
fair.
he had the first dibs on it,
Got it.
and then he liked it enough, and that's how it became a Dice Tower Essential. And then Dice Tower Essential line is always produced by Arcane Wonders, so that's how it became.
Amazing. I think this was the very, very, very interesting talk. Thank you so much, guys. Let's get a picture.